Hi everyone, welcome to my coding here. In the previous tutorial, we discussed about what is microservices and why microservices, and also we discussed about what is monolithic architecture and what was the problem we are facing in monolithic architecture, and also we discussed about vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. So these things we have discussed in previous video. If you do not watch it, please go through the first. Then today we will discuss how to create a REST API. But before creating the REST API, the prerequisite should be Spring Boot. You have to know the Spring Boot, then only you can create the REST API. Okay, so today I'll create two services, like right, one is user service and another is font service. Okay, let's get started. So this is my Spring Tool suite. Here creating new project, and I'll create two service. One is user service. Okay, let's package is com.coding here dot user service. Fine. Then type is Maven. So if you want Gradle, then you can use Gradle. Okay, now I am using Maven, and Java 17 I am using. Then next. Then here, if you see here, the Spring Boot version I am using latest one, 3.4.1. Okay, so what's the dependency we need? The first dependency we need is Spring Web. Okay, Spring Web, this one. This is the first dependency we required. Then next, then finish it. So here our project is created. Now there are so many packages is there. Basically we are writing the code in src packages, and in src test java we will write our test cases, and in resource folder we are write our configuration, like here application.properties is there, right? So if you know the Spring Boot, you know all these things. Okay, so let's create one Spring Boot application here. In this package already user service application is there. Okay, so when we can, so when we will run this application, by default it will run on 8080 port number. So before that I just wanted to change the port number also. Okay, that one we'll do later. First we'll create the API. So first I'll create some packages, like one is controller package, service, service, then repository. Okay, then entity package. So when the request will come, first the request comes to this controller. Okay, so in this controller I have created one sample class, like this is user, right? So user controller, user controller. So we'll make it as at the rate rest controller. We have to make this annotation. Basically the this annotation is the combination of at the rate response body and at the rate controller. Suppose I'll create one method, like public public. Okay, so it is returning some string value, let's say, and this is something like get user. Okay, get user. So for now we have not connecting our database. So for now just I am just hard coding. Okay, return some name like hello world. Okay, so But this is which kind of request, like it's a get request or post request, we have to mention. That's why we are using at the rate get mapping. This get mapping is nothing but request type is get method. Okay, so in this get mapping annotation here we can mention the URL. Okay, slash suppose get user. Okay, so when we'll call this API, so we have to pass this as a URL, then only this API will call. One more mapping is there, we can use that in class level, like at the rate request mapping, and we here we can mention like slash this is user. Okay, so why I am doing two times mapping? Because suppose in this controller I have one more controller is there. Okay, suppose let's say one more class is there, address controller. Okay, address controller. In this address controller also uh, at the rate request map instead at the rate rest controller, and here also same method is there. Okay, method same method is there. So if you will comment this part, okay, I'm commenting this part, then here address controller also same method, and user controller have a same method, and URI also same URI. So when we will send the request, it will confuse like where I will go. To avoid that kind of problem, we are using this annotation at the rate request mapping in class level annotation we are using. Okay, clear? If we can't use, suppose just now I'm just removing this one. Okay, okay, then I'll run. So directly you can select this project, then run as Spring Boot app. See here it has started. If you'll see here, Tomcat started as 8080. Okay, so if you'll go here, localhost 8080 slash, what is the URL you gave here? This is slash get user. Same, just copy paste. When I'll hit the hello world come. Okay, now what I am doing, instead of here I just uncommented this one. Okay, now I am rerunning this application. Now if you will hit this one, it will not work because the mapping has not done properly. So first we have to use this one slash user, then slash get user. So this is the one services we create now. And one more thing, here the default port number is 8080. If I want to change the port number, then go to this properties file in the resource folder, and in this properties file, like we can mention port server.port. Suppose I'm running on 9090. Okay, now restart the server. Now if you'll go here, it will not work because the localhost refused to connect. Okay, instead of 9090 I make it as, sorry, instead of 8080 I'm making as 9090. Now hello welcome. Okay, this is one REST service. Okay, so I'll create one more service like fund service. Okay, similarly file, new spring starter project, fund service. Okay, so here I am making as fund service also. Okay, same Maven Java 17. Then next here we'll use Spring Web. Okay, then next, then finish. Now fund service also created. In fund service similarly I'll create packages. This is the controller package, then Okay, so in the controller package I just create one class. It is one controller class. Then here I'll make as at the rate rest controller, then at the rate request mapping. This is fund service, right? We can make mention as fund. Okay, slash fund. Now I'll create one simple API like public string get fund name. Okay, here, okay, I just return one fund name. Suppose Bank of India small cap fund. Okay, then I'll this is get request, right? At the rate get mapping get fund name. Okay, now if I'll run this one, it will run on 8080 part number. Okay, default is 8080. Now I just wanted to call this API, so localhost, instead of user I can make it as fund slash get fund. Okay, this get fund name. Okay, now it's come. So in this way we can create the multiple services or REST API. Okay, so we can, this is nothing but one API. So in this similar, like in controller many APIs is there, so in one services can have many APIs. Okay, so in this way we are creating our microservices. Okay, so in the next video I'll come up with how to integrate it with database like MySQL or Oracle. Thank you guys, please watch my videos and subscribe.